Hey, what is up, YouTube? It's Rich. All right, welcome to Super Fun Sunday. This is going to be so kick-ass. I've been waiting for this book for months. It's actually rare that I anticipate a book, to be 100% honest, as much as you see my passion for book collecting. I'm going to set this here so the book doesn't keep sliding down the thing. Yeah, rarely do I ever hear like oh, it's been solicited and it's coming out then. But these Spawn Vault editions in particular were really interesting to me because I think Todd's inking to me is really fascinating. It's not even from an inker's point of view. I just think that the way that he draws is very unique to him, and to be able to see it without that sort of digital color is it's a really valuable learning tool to kind of capture the energy and subtleties of what someone like Todd brings to the table. So anyway, one thing that I noticed with this book is I was worried because the first ones all came signed by Todd, and then there was random sketches. On this it was 1 out of every 100. So I did open it just to see if I got a sketch. I didn't get a sketch, but it is signed by Todd. And the first book had a red theme, and so Todd signed all the books in red. This book is a blue theme, and he did it in blue. I thought that was really kind of clever and something that I didn't initially notice. I just saw that he had signed it in blue. So, other thing, I have not looked through this book at all. The only thing that I did was I opened it up to see if there was a sketch. And then I took a peek at, here's Todd's signature. Really, really cool. I mean, I would highly recommend, oh man, this page bent. It's a little bent. I would highly recommend picking this up because I think that once these books do sell out, they probably will never get reprinted again. This is a pretty, small demographic of comic fan that one that will drop this amount of money on a big book, and then two, they're a little tricky to store, so a lot of people just don't have room for them. In fact, when I bought my first artist edition, which was the Wally Wood book from IDW, that one is huge. Like this is big. This is full size. The Wally Wood book is gigantic. It's like one of the Jack Kirby ones where it's like they were drawn on pages that were just huge. So anyway, so the only thing that I peeked at was I kind of flipped it open, I think, to issue 8 just for a second. And then I wanted to see, I just wanted to take a sneaky peek at issue 9, because issue 9 is like a really great issue. It's controversial because of the sort of relationship that ultimately Angela and Neil Gaiman, I guess the creator of it, and then Todd, because there was some whatever, like legal stuff with it. So I took a little sneaky peek. But when I took the sneaky peek, I saw something that shocked me. I'm serious. So stay tuned in this video, because when you see this, it's going to melt your brain. I'm going to explain why it's so crazy on a few different levels. So anyway, let's take a little sneaky peek at this, and we'll start looking at this stuff. I'm not going to go through the whole book. One, it's too big, and two, it just came out. So this is just sort of a teaser. It'll be good though. Trust me, we'll do 30 minutes on this book, and I'll knock it out of the park for you alls. Give you as much Spawn info as I can. So, all right, let's do this. This is already kick-ass. This looks cut out. If you actually look closely at the Spawn head, you can see that this is a paste up of some sort. Well, you know what? This actually does look like a photocopy. That's interesting, because if you actually look at this, the paper is yellowed, and this is not. It looks like white Xerox paper. So this is actually a paste up of some sort. Now, why? Hard to say. This is great. I love the energy that Todd has with these like little figures. They're like cartoony. Look how thick the line is under that kid's arm. It's crazy. All right, what is my camera doing? It's trying to autofocus. I don't know. It's sort of annoying. I hope it doesn't affect the video. That looks really, really cool. All right, this is gonna be so good. This thing is kind of bugging me too. I've got issues. All right, get this freaking cord out of my way. I've got my Cintiq is sitting above me, and the wire keeps hitting every time I hit a page. That is awesome. But yeah, hopefully everyone's doing good. I had said that I probably wouldn't be back to do more videos, but I also had been waiting for this book to show up for about a week, and when it finally arrived, I was like, dude, there's no way. Because one, it would be fun to look at it on my own, which I don't do though. I mean, it's the whole point of Super Fun Sundays. I'm telling you, I do not look at a lot of books anymore on my own, unless I sort of like really force myself to do it. But on YouTube, I'm down. On Patreon, I'm even more down, because I feel like I have an obligation to the patrons, my patron saints. So, yeah, issue 8. I have very, very fond memories of this book. This was probably the catalyst of me getting into comics. The early issues of Spawn were really good. Issue 8, um, there's some pages in this issue that are so freaking cool. And yeah, it just completely changed my life, literally. McFarlane after me. Um, I don't even know if I really ever noticed that on the colored cover. That's funny. Um, yeah, so I had bought this comic book on tour. My band was on tour. We were in Texas. I remember we stopped at a truck stop and they had a spinner rack. And I got this in issue 7 on a spinner rack, and I picked up a heavy metal magazine. But I would look at them nonstop because it was so boring. Like we drove from Amarillo to Austin. We were touring all over the country, from San Diego to New York and back. But yeah, and man, that like Spawn 8 in particular, I looked at that book so much over the next like month because I didn't really have much to do. Cell phones weren't around back then. I'm an old man. No, I'm not. But yeah, this issue in particular, just there was a page. I love how he does this stuff, like these gnarly roots and stuff like that. Like nobody does gritty like Todd. It's just, man. So this page right here, this is it. This changed my life completely. This crap. I always thought this was an issue 9 too. What's funny is because I hadn't looked at the books in a long time, and I was like, oh, issue 9's got that bubbly smoke and that weird creepy forest, and man, this just had such a big impact on me, and you know, cut to today. This is literally why I draw comic books. So Todd, if you ever see this video, thank you. Sort of, you pulled me out of rock and roll, not rock and roll, hard rock and punk. But yeah, oh, man, this is so cool. So yeah, just really, really beautiful work. I highly, highly recommend this book. Look at this. It's just like fantasy and monsters. This is what I got into comic books to do. Not Bruce Wayne talking in an office to billionaires. Sorry, but I want to draw monsters, killing stuff, hot chicks. It's probably not politically correct to say that, but that's the truth. And handsome guys. Look, most comic book heroes are far more handsome than me. And do I take offense? No. It's just the way it is. Oh my god, this is so kick-ass. So yeah, so I haven't seen any of these pages in black and white. Oh my god, this is so good. This is so freaking good. But dude, I'm telling you, what's coming up is gonna blow your mind. It's so crazy. Oh my god. So we'll skip ahead a little bit because again, we're getting a taste for this book. Yeah, all of these issues are amazing too. It's Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Dave Sim, Frank Miller. I'm probably spacing out on one. I apologize. I'm caught up in the narration of this right now. We'll see when we get there. This is really cool. God, man, Todd was on fire here. You could really see the confidence in his pencils, and he understood what he was doing. And this really is, to me, an evolution of what he was doing on Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man. This stuff is better. It's better drawn. It's better laid out. It's got a better attention to detail, and he had improved as an artist, and he really had something that he was passionate about. And I'm not saying he wasn't passionate about Spider-Man, but there's, you can just see it on these pages. He had figured it out. I think he even says that. I glanced, guy is naked. It's a nice note. Just in case. Yeah, after I saw the thing that shocked me, I went immediately to the forward to see if he mentioned it, because it's a weird thing not to explain, but I'll explain it as best I can from an outsider's point of view and someone who's worked as a professional artist for a long time now, 20 years about. Yeah, all right, so let's get to it. Oh, this is cool. Look at this. Isn't this great? Best comic book art, man. Just like, it's up there to me. There's lots of great stuff. I mean, obviously you've seen from my channel, I have a lot of different tastes. So for this style, Todd is the best. Oh, Capullo's pretty damn good though. This is awesome. It's like that weird, what was it? It was kind of like the digital color oleoptic spawn. I don't even know what you call it. They would have little ads for it. Like, he looked like he was made out of thing. All right, so then Spawn gets fat. But here, we're going to go to the Angela issue. It's time. All right, so this is where it gets shocking. All right, you guys ready? You've been patient enough. So check this out. I've never, ever seen this piece online before, but look at this. Look at that. All right, we're going to soak this in. This is the cover for issue 9. Angela's first appearance, I'm nearly sure, was the cover. I don't think the Angela miniseries had come out yet. I could be wrong, but regardless, okay, this is a very, very iconic cover, and something really, really catastrophic happened up here to the original art. And like I said, I find it a little surprising that he didn't mention it, but we're going to get into this in a second. So the first thing that I would say is Todd kept all of this original art. When he was working on Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man, specifically Amazing Spider-Man, I know for a fact, he did sell originals. So sorry, I'm trying to adjust the book holder thing. There's a lot of that art out there, and if you follow auction prices, some of the work has gone for a ton of money. A couple of the covers went for like $35,000. I think another one went for $54,000 or $65,000, and then one in particular went for either $130,000 or like $230,000, something crazy. And it's you know, there's a lot of value in these pieces, and so Todd was making a lot of money when he was doing Spawn. Image was huge. He did good, I believe, at Marvel, so he kept all of this original art. But this piece has never been seen. But so value-wise, this is a very, very valuable piece of original art. But this is absolutely insane what's going on here. So to me, if I were going to speculate, like people ask me as a professional artist, what do you do if you mess up? I've never ever had a mistake this big on a page ever. I've been drawing stuff like when I would do my own personal work. I've overworked pieces and then scrapped them because I didn't like it. But I've never had like a finished piece of art ultimately end up like this, where something happened. I'm gonna guess that this probably happened after the fact. It almost like it's too much of a smear to have been like his hand was wet and he ran it across it. This could be repaired, and I'm surprised. It's really interesting. I give Todd a lot of credit for actually showing the piece in this condition, because I think a lot of people would be tempted to clean it up. And he just owns it. It's like, there's the cover, and this is what it looks like. Like, I couldn't let this go. I would have to have cleaned it up. It would drive me nuts. Like, I would obsess over it. Honestly, I probably would have lightboxed it and redone the whole piece. That's kind of how psycho I am. I wouldn't have been able to let it go. But the piece was probably finished, and, I mean, I'm seeing smear marks. So it looks to me like, maybe a wet paper towel or something went over it. It's like, I don't know, has he ever said, if anyone knows, like, what happened, let me know, because I'm very, very curious. But you could actually get this professionally restored, and honestly, it would probably look great. There's a couple of guys out there that do professional restoration of, like, Golden Age art and Silver Age stuff that has problems, and they can clean it up pretty good. So I think, honestly, like, Todd would never sell this, but this would definitely be worthwhile repairing, because it is such an iconic cover. So anyway, that was really, really shocking to me, and I have no idea if other pieces were damaged. It doesn't look to me like it was in a box and it got wet. If we see other pages with water damage, then maybe something happened. But it could have been something as simple as, like, he had like a Coke that had condensation, and the board got pushed into that wetness, and underneath it just sort of soaked through the board. The other thing I would say is that would lead me to believe that the black ink possibly was marker, because India ink probably wouldn't smear like that. So anyway, that's my forensic hypotheses based on what I'm seeing there. But man, that really blew me away. And it's ironic that it's Angela, because it's almost like, did he do it in a fit of anger? Neil Gaiman's suing me for the character. I'm going to destroy the piece. I don't think that happened, but the fantasy is interesting. So anyway, we've got this guy. I couldn't remember his name when I did that other video. Oh, Young Hellspawn. Okay, so this is Hellspawn. I wasn't sure if it was medieval Spawn, but medieval Spawn I was pretty sure was purple. I love these panels. Like Todd, when he goes a little Frank Millerish, it really works. Look at how great this little silhouette panel is. Simple and effective, and really really cool. So yeah, this book is so sick. I love these shots in the forest. I thought it was actually really fun to see Spawn out of the alley and in this different environment. And Todd does great little crinkly scrolls. I mean, just everything has got such a nice little 3D quality to it. It's really really cool. Overlapping shapes. We've talked about Todd's work a few times in videos here, but yeah, I really enjoy in this stuff. I mean, bubbly lines, and it's just fun looking. This is pretty cool. Not as nice as the cover though. Look, the cover is this is a good pose, but and this kind of stuff, like his drapery. But yeah, that really was like crazy of all covers to freaking get smeared. That one, oh my god, what a heartbreaker. So this is kind of Frank Miller's too. Works really good. Another person that's great with silhouettes, although his silhouettes are generally fully black, is Joe Madureira. Will drop in some real nice silhouettes and like Battle Chasers, and I'm not sure if it carried over into his later Marvel stuff that he did. Probably, because it's a storytelling tool that he uses, although he was kind of co-scripting Battle Chasers, which would, help move those kind of panels in, whereas maybe if someone else was writing the script, they would feel like you were sort of not being, this is nice. 800 years later. Oh yeah, and this was interesting too. So they must have been really planning this stuff out quite well, because this isn't the Dave Sim issue fully realized, but in the comic book you see this flash forward, or whatever you want to call it, like flashback, flash forward of what's going to happen in the next issue. It's really cool. Okay, so we'll hustle a little bit. This is a nice panel. Yeah, hopefully this is fun. But yeah, I mean, so after this video, I probably, if I have time, I'll always do a video. But if not, I really do have to work, because I'm trying to get Blaster Kid like moving, and it's just difficult. My schedule, the amount of time in the day, it's like my time is so limited right now. It's crazy. The days fly by. I mean, that's how I kind of explained it before. Is it's like before I know it's like 4 or 5 o'clock, and I'm like, oh man, like everything is taking forever. Why is this so, like, there's so much to do. Really cool. Oh, this is nice. Oh yeah, that's really cool. It's funny because this reminds me a little bit more of the Capullo stuff. Like Capullo kind of came in and was doing sorry, I just got a text from Alex Sinclair. He's going to be sending color pages from the next Batman story that we did. That's exciting. That's a really cool shot. Todd draws everything cool, man. He does cool shots of buildings. He draws really cool organic, like outdoor things. He can go back and forth between very detailed and pretty simple, straightforward comic art, you know? This doesn't have a lot of flash and rendering on it, and it looks really good, and it works. It's just a natural, like, his language is so strong. Okay, so I won't show the last page of that issue, and we'll check out some of the Cerebus ones. This is issue 10. Oh, man, it's so nice. Look at that. Oh, such a great cover. So funny. Todd does a great Cerebus too. I actually think it's like God. I always felt like as a kid when you draw like cartoon characters, it's either on point or not. Like any little deviation of proportion with like key characters that they're really recognizable. Yeah, man, there's not a lot of wiggle room with that, and Cerebus is like that because it is so simple. You know, if his nose is too big or too small, or the eyes aren't the right distance, it just doesn't fit, like, won't fit. Oh man, this is so kick-ass. I'm so glad I got this. This is the last book I'm getting for a while, though. I gotta save some money, and I also need to, like, start selling some books that I don't look at, because I'm running to thin the herd. Oh, this is so cool. Oh man, that's great. Those hands are awesome. God, he was on fire at this point. Like, those hands just tell me that, like, Todd's drawing great. because that probably was so fast for him to like lay in, but he just could see it and feel it, and man, uh, that is what good comic book art is all about right there. He nailed that. It's really, really good. Really good. Oh, yes. Look at that. Oh, man. This was so crazy when you got this comic book. I was like, and like I said, in an interesting way, it is kind of it represents now a little bit. It's interesting because it's like the independent character Spawn, and then you have the more corporate characters and this sort of injustice concept. It's pretty cool, pretty forward thinking. But again, I had mentioned when we looked at the color version of this that it's like this stuff is all cyclical. It's like in another 10 years everybody will be like in the same spot, and it's like then it fades, and it's just the way that it is. It's the way that it is, yo. Life's a never ending wheel. Bonus points if you know what song that's from. I bet someone will know, actually. Someone will. Oh, I was like, what did Tom... I thought Todd wrote me a note for a second because it was in blue ink. Rich, you're cool. Thank you for buying my book. Alright, so we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Okay, so this is issue 11, I think. I'm thinking this is the Frank Miller issue. I'm guessing. Let me see. I can kind of tell when I see this. And then I think on the Frank Miller issue, and it was funny. Someone had mentioned it, and then I remembered that I think Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee actually did some art assists on it. Yeah, I think this is the issue. They said if you look at it, you could tell. Yeah, I think this is the Frank Miller issue. I'm pretty sure. That guy is so cool. Again, he strips out the detail and it works, That's nice. For people that are colorists that are always like pining away for like, I need high-res scans of black and white art, buy one of these artist edition books of an artist that you like, and you'll have more stuff to color than you know what to do with. These are full-size originals. Think outside the box. People always ask me, like I'm going to know. I tell them Google and look for the biggest images, but I've recommended these too. They have the art, not only the artist editions, but you can buy the director's cut sometimes come in black and white. You scan that at 600 DPI, you've got a nice file. Your artist, be creative. This helpless sort of thing that some people have. It's like, oh yeah, so I think this is it. This to me, it would be hard for me to guess. I don't know Liefeld stuff well enough. To me, it looks a little like Jim's Punisher War Journal stuff. So, Jim doesn't do this hand though. The little sort of like super hand. I'm gonna say that this is Liefeld. Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't look like Jim. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's probably on the back of the board. An ad ran here in the original printing of Spawn. Spawn number 12 cover. Oh. Oh, it's a sketch for Spawn 12 cover. I get it. And I'm sure someone in the comments section will be able to... Oh, okay. So... Wow, this is wild. Man, that figure is great. It's so big. For people learning to draw, if you have trouble and you don't feel like when you draw your heroes they look big enough, take a piece of tracing paper or go into Photoshop and create another layer and outline some of your favorite comic book drawings that you feel have a good sense of scale, and just look at the silhouette, or the size of the hand compared to the arm, compared to the head, compared to the torso and the legs. And it'll really kind of help you. Yeah, this looks a little more like Jim, I think. Yeah, I could see a little Jim in there actually. Yeah, that will help you get the size relationships down, because I've always recommended a simple one for me is I generally will say, like, if you look at Jim Lee's Batman, in the comic book, and then if you actually take it and isolate the actual structure of it, you'll be really surprised at what the silhouette of that character looks like and what is big, because he really actually draws like a mammoth size. Oh, this is so awesome. Let's turn this book around. I think we'll end it on this piece, and we'll have a little close-up. Sorry, let me just get the camera up. All right, so this is a big double-page spread. I don't even remember this in the book, honestly. I know this was the little teaser thing in the front of the book, but man, that is so great. Oh yeah, this is the one where, like, this is a little out of perspective. This one thing right here is not going to the vanishing point. The bottom of that ellipse should be smaller for the angle that it's at. Not a big deal, but it looks flat, like you're almost seeing it like as a side view. But past that, man, this is just so sick, so dynamic and exciting, and really what Todd is all about. So, all right, I hope that was super fun and gets you excited about this book. Some really, really kick-ass art in it, and there's a lot more. There's a ton of the book, but again, I want to be respectful for people that are going to get it, not have a ton of spoilers, and then also, we can always revisit this book in 6 months or a year and look at it in a more in-depth way. But all right, have a great day. I need to get to work, and that's what I'm gonna do today. We'll peek at one more page. What is this? What is this? All right, one more. We'll go a little further back. All right. Okay. I'll talk to you later.